well, because he certainly does.
Right. Do you have a
We
question?
used to go to these offices there, and there would be maybe 30 at the most people there. My husband was real interested in it, and
There was 230
I know, and they had to call more chairs, more chairs.
That was the
keep all
biggest
these
people are
people.
scared.
There's interest
It's the
here.
biggest one I've
I
ever
mean,
seen.
they are.
It's 230 or 250 or something.
People are scared at the direction our country's going because they don't have any confidence in who's there right now.
Oh,
And so with that,
That's what I was trying
It
to
was
say,
big.
it's voted.
It was the largest group I've ever seen.
And their children know about it.
absolutely.
They're gonna vote.
I met Al Quist once, and he seems like a very nice, intelligent man. Probably a little older than you, but where do you figure you're going to be better than Al?
Well, first and foremost, politics from 1980 are totally different than politics here in the year 2000. You know, and so I've got a track record, a winning track record, number one, that anybody can take a look at. I could relate to 3 different groups because I had to in my Senate race. I had to relate and rally the GOP base. I had to be able to talk and relate to the independents and pull in Reagan Democrats at the same time. Now, folks, statistically in the 1st Congressional District, it matches up almost to a T in my Senate district. And if you can't do that, you're not going to get elected. I can just tell you that. And my message has been loud and clear. It's about the economy. It's about bringing back the authority where it belongs, and that's in the hands of Congress, not at the hands of agency heads, people that are not elected. Why would you give away the authority that you bestowed upon us? We should not do that. That's why we're in the problems and the troubles we're in right now, because we have unelected people making law. They're doing rules and regulations that affect everything that happens. And I fight for that. And you have to be able to get that message to those 3 groups. You have to be able to articulate. You have to be able to go from sun up to sundown and then some. You got to have the shoe leather there to get back and forth. And so that's who I am. That's what I've done all my life. And that's what I'm going to continue to do because I believe I'll be the endorsed candidate. And I know I will defeat Tim Hall. I just know it. I feel it. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. My wife wouldn't be here with me either. But that's what we have to do. And so by rallying all the troops together and having that message, because folks, I'm telling you, when at the end of the day, it boils down to one thing. And I tell people this all the time. I don't care what party you are with. I don't care where you come from. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Are you better off? When I get a chance to talk to those that have a different sign in their yard than mine, and I say, are you happy with the event? Well, I was telling this the last play. I walked up when I ran for Senate against Alex DeMarco. I walked up to the house that had his sign, and I tell them who I am. They said, well, we can't vote for you because we're not of your party. I said, well, that's fine. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. I said, what do you think about the economy? He said, okay. How about your pocket? Is there more money in it today than there was yesterday? Are you happy with the taxes that we have? And they don't know. Well, if that's the case, then you need to vote for Mike Parry, because that's what I fight for. More money in our pocket, less government intrusion in our lives. And that's what we want. Bring back responsibility where it really belongs, and that's on the person.
You know, it's all about winning your God on abortion.
I'm pro-life. Always have been, always will. I believe in the Constitution. I conceal and carry. I'm a Second Amendment right, supporter. I was one of the authors on the Castle Doctrine here in the state of Minnesota. Fought for it, even though our governor just had one of those days and vetoed it. That's who I'm.
But he's got another proposal on the table right now.
No,
not on the,
no, that's
not on
for
the
the,
Castle document.
that's
on the
photo
voter
ID.
ID. Yeah, the voter ID thing. Isn't that something about looking up, using a laptop and looking up a face on?
Well, what they're trying to do now, because they're scared, because they know that 80-some% of the people in Minnesota want a constitutional amendment to go through. You know, even in their own party, I believe I saw something 59%. In their own party want it. But so now, Mr. Ritchie,
Can we do
Secretary of
both?
State, well, sure, we can do both.
And the reason I asked the question is she's gonna do something
But see, what they want to do.
before November 6th.
Well, it's gonna get done. But see, what Secretary Ritchie, we know what side of the aisle he's on. The reason they wanna do this is because they don't want the constitutional amendment. Because you can always mess with this on this side.
Yeah.
Constitutional amendment says you will show government issued ID. And you can get them at no cost. But they're trying to stop the constitutional amendment from going forth by using this as a ploy, saying, hey, this is the catch-all. Well, we don't think
How
it
many
is.
times have voter referendums or amendments been struck down by left-wing judges in California most recently, but other places around the country where the people's will is being stopped by a left-wing judge? Then we come back to impeachment. You can make a point. You may not get it done with conviction, but by God, you can make points by impeaching people that go against the will of the people. And then the Senate are on record as to not convicting them or not convicting them, more than likely with that Senate. But you can make points when you have judges that are basically outlaws, have no regard for the Constitution whatsoever. They believe in case law. They don't believe in the Constitution. They so bastardize case law that the Constitution says whatever the judge says it says. Well, that's nonsense, and this Congress in Washington, D.C., Republicans need to stand up on their little tippy toes and stand tall once in a while and make a point. If they can't get it done through conviction, they can at least make the point.
Is it hard to start an impeachment? Is that a difficult process, or is it?
Need somebody to
Well, we
say-
could, you know, when I asked the governor of the state of Minnesota to resign, because I was so upset at him shutting down the state, and, you know, he's a CEO of a $60 billion company. And he put 22,000 people on layoff. To prove a political point, he should have resigned. 554,000 votes it would have taken to start a recall election on the West. You know, you can
I think
do this.
in the our House, all you need is a 50% vote to have an impeachment. You don't need 6, I don't think you need more than
I would have to,
majority.
you know, I would have to check that. Once
But-
I'm in
and I might not
Once
be
I'm in
right.
Washington, I'll find that out,
Find
and
out.
we'll take care of that.
There you
Yes.
go.
How about marriage? What are you gonna, how you gonna set that up?
Marriage?
What are we gonna do in Minnesota on that?
Well,
What are
the
you gonna
voters
do?
are gonna decide that this November.
It's gonna
but
get on the ballot.
It's on.
It
It
is.
is on. We put that on last year.
And I'll bet you nickel, it'll go, if it passes, man, or husband, wife type of thing, it'll go before the court. And guess what? We have a bunch of left-wingers in all the courts here and everywhere. They'll strike it down, and the will of the people will go right down the toilet.
Well, and here's what's happening, and we watched it happen the last 4 years. They have woke the sleeping giant.
I think so.
We can no longer afford to be silent.
That's right.
And as hard as it is, and as much criticism, and as much hatred that will be thrown at those of us that have the backbone to stand up and bring it forth, we have to do that. If we don't, we won't have a constitution.
That's right.
If
This
we
is the exciting
continually,
time.
if we continually let our president circumvent the Constitution,
And do nothing.
circumvent Congress with executive orders that he has no authority to do, we're
Peachy.
gonna lose.
But then when we have a leadership that will allow someone like Keegan to get on the Supreme Court, that should never happen. That should absolutely never happen. She is the most corrupt person to ever sit on the Supreme Court.
Well, we know Washington is broken, and that's why we have to fix it.
But we can't get rid of her. She's in there for life.
Well, this is the year that we have to do that. So.